I've been spending a lot of time thinking about kind of what brought us here to St. James, and knowing I think we arrived as a family anyway a year or so before the pandemic started.
We had come to some of the St. James Christmas, like the St. Nicholas Masses, prior to actually coming here full time. So there were some like outreach programs that we attended before we actually made a commitment and started coming more regularly. So we ended up coming to Godly Play Camp in the summer before we had actually started coming to St. James. The kids really enjoyed it. I felt really comfortable with the children's programs, and we all know that as parents, if you have children, even as grandparents, you're really drawn to those programs for children when you come to a church. And so, of course, let's fast forward a little bit. You know, we've been at St. James for a while, and then COVID hits, right? And like everything shuts down. I remember that first couple Sundays after COVID had started and church had, you know, in person had ended. We actually like huddled around our TV, like old-fashioned times, watching like the Sunday services on the TV, and
we figured we'd be doing that for a few weeks
yeah.
before we came back. But you know, as I'm thinking about that time, it's interesting, just as we're talking about it right now, like reflecting on all of the different things that brought us here.
Yeah.
But as we kind of went into that period where things felt like they were shutting down, we had to kind of look for new ways to feel connected, because I think as a family we recognized the importance of this place and felt drawn in and felt like it was a home. For me personally, I was kind of experiencing some changes as this place was contributing to my own sense of call and thinking about ministry. So during COVID, we really had to kind of reimagine what church looked like.
Well, and like people from all over the world, like were reimagining at the same time. So it wasn't just St. James. I mean, St. James pretty seamlessly, I feel like, went from in-person to online to offering, you know, Compline and different speakers. Even the diocese offered different speakers, but then churches throughout the world started offering different things. So that was really exciting. I know that Sandra in our last week's video talked about Zoom and like all the technology and stuff. And so that really did help us feel connected, but we still wanted to come to the physical church. And so it was amazing that during this time of COVID, the churchyards were still open. They encouraged, you know, mask wearing at some points if there were other people around. So we kind of just made it our thing that on Sundays, especially after the services stopped being live streamed, after they were pre-recorded and you can watch it anytime, then on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, we would come to and have what we called a church walk, and really just like hang out in the churchyard a bit. The kids would kind of look around the garden areas. They would run amok, you know, and do things probably that they shouldn't, that we would tell them not to do. My own creativity like needed an outlet, so I brought my camera here a lot and took photographs. And so we really started coming to the churchyard and experiencing that as kind of a church for the week.
Yeah, it feels significant to me to like be sitting in the churchyard and to be thinking about like how much like this space has served as a place for faith formation for my family and for my children, to keep them connected to church in a physical way as they have grown and developed, to be able to listen to them ask new questions. And our son Oliver has been asking often questions about God. He's been asking why God made us and if God loves us. But these are great questions to hear from a 4-year-old, and I really feel like this space and this community has helped foster some of that, right? Where we're doing the work at home, praying with our children in the morning and at night, and encouraging that kind of theological wondering. But it has to be coupled with a community that fosters that as well. That's one of the reasons why we got involved with Godly Play.
Yeah, so Joe and I both did the Godly Play training that took place, I guess it was the summer when the original training took place. It was a pretty intensive 3-day session. It was a really great way to start to understand Godly Play better. I think Joe and I both had experienced it through our children, having participated in it prior. So we knew a little bit about it, but it was a really great way to understand more about it and to become more involved.
I reflect on just kind of that need for community, right? And even when the doors were closed for a while in the church, there was still that need where we needed to be able to gather and pray with each other and connect with each other. And I think, we found a lot of ways to do that. Compline is something that has been important for me, both as someone who has kind of been a part of that community, to pray with that community, and also to take a lead role in helping to organize that nightly gathering. And I have seen, even to this day, how important that community is for folks who come every night and pray together. And I know that that's going to carry on into the days and months and years to come.
Compline still seems to be something that I hope will continue online, because it's a really great way to connect with people. You don't have to be fancy. Sometimes I'm in my pajamas and I don't even turn my video. Sometimes I have the camera really well positioned so you can't see my house, or sometimes there's a child that wanders in with Joe. So that's been a really great way, through COVID and post-COVID. I think that's one of those things that really should stick around in this new world we're navigating here.
I entered and came to St. James. We came to St. James with no intention of kind of thinking about how this might shape or change my vocation. But so there's just this coming together of so many things in my life. Yeah. This community being a big part of it really kind of led to and fed into this sense of call to explore what it might mean to step into ordained ministry. So I'm currently a postulant with the diocese, preparing for ordination for the priesthood. And part of the reason why that is happening is because of this space and these people, and I can't stress how grateful I am for that.
I don't want to say a gift of COVID, because COVID really stinks and has caused so much hurt and loss and grief in the world. But I do think it gave us a chance to, as a church community as a whole, and I don't mean just our church, but the church, it gave us a chance to kind of just pause and reset and maybe get out of some of those patterns and habits that we had been in, the same people doing the same things or the same groups or the same meeting times, and really allowed people to start from scratch, So we're at this point where I feel we've kind of got an opportunity here to start new in some ways, feeding off of things that worked in the past, and adding on new things to kind of make our community even better.
A lot of opportunity for deep reflection. And I think my hope is that we can kind of continue in that spirit of deep reflection as we think about kind of where things will go next, for our family and as individuals and as a church community as well.